Welcome to episode number 92 of the Closing Table with Lawyers Title. I'm your host, Tamara Gady, and today's guest is Courtney Benson to talk about her social media journey right after this.
Welcome to the Closing Table with host Tamara Gady, where we break down how to be successful in real estate and what it's really like to work in the real estate business. This is the Closing Table with Lawyers Title.
Today's guest is Courtney Benson. She is a top producing realtor with The Real Broker. She's also a published author of Manifest Your Market, and she's gotten over 70 referrals from TikTok in 2024. What is it this year?
At 54.
54 referrals from
January.
TikTok in 2025. That's amazing. I'm so excited to talk to her today. So welcome to the show, Courtney. I'm so glad you're here.
You. Thanks for having me.
I've wanted you to be a guest on the show for a while now.
I wanted you to want me to be a guest.
Oh,
Yeah. I was just like,
God.
I was just waiting. I'm like, not this week.
Well, I took a break. I had to take a break, but
Okay.
so now
Yeah.
we're up and running again. And so you're one of the very first guests back.
Well,
now that
thanks
we
for
started
having
back,
me.
thank you so much.
you.
I'm really excited to talk to you. So I see all your stuff on the social media platforms. Most of the time, I see it on Instagram. That's the highest. The biggest platform that I see you on.
Okay.
But that's because my TikTok is not real estate. You can't have
Yeah.
real estate can't have my TikTok. But you're hilarious.
Thanks.
And you say things other people won't say
Yeah.
because people are scared to be authentic. Can I use that word? Do we hate that word?
Not
Authentic?
yet.
Okay, cool.
Maybe by the end of the episode, but not the top of it.
I won't ever
we're
use it.
Okay. We're okay. Just, what are my trigger words? Robust.
But also, like, I think you tell real stories about real estate transactions. And I find that realtors, of course, people want to put anybody, any salesperson, not just realtors, they want to put their best foot forward, right? And present themselves in the best way. But what I think that is really working for you clearly is the fact that you are yourself. And you talk about the real nuts and bolts of a real estate transaction.
Yes.
So let's start. The majority of your business comes from social media, correct?
It does now. Yeah, it does now.
When did it shift?
2023.
When did you start putting stuff out, content out?
2022.
So it took
End
a year.
of 2021, beginning of 2022. Yeah.
So it took a year.
It took
About
a year. I started getting referrals pretty quickly. I would say I had under 1,000 followers before I started getting phone calls.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've been consistent. But yeah, I would say my business, the social media aspect outgrew the sphere of referrals around
Right.
2023.
2023. So maybe a little over a year
Yeah,
of consistently
consistent.
being on social media.
Yes.
And when I say consistent, how much content are we talking a week?
Every day.
Every day?
Well, unless you look the past 2 days. I was in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You
no,
need a
it's
break.
I need a break. But sometimes I'll like repurpose stuff. I mean, my God, I have thousands of videos, so
Sure.
people don't remember them all. So sometimes I will repurpose old videos. But no, I show up every day.
Multiple times a day?
I did that. I did that. I was in a slump for a while and I went back to it just as a little like test. And I got myself out of my funk doing that. But no, I show up every day because you have to be consistent with anything. I mean, even the bad stuff, if you do something bad consistently, you'll still get results.
Well, and you show up in your car at your kitchen table.
Because it's the only time people aren't talking to me.
Okay. I mean, you show up,
Someone's always talking to me.
but it's never a studio. It's your kitchen table. It's
No.
Who's driving in the car?
It's not me. And I swear on everything. If one more person is like, ma'am, that is so dangerous. I'm like, you're a ding dong. I swear. Like, it's freaking reverse image. People are so, I just laugh now. But no, I get a lot of feedback of like, well, I don't have a camera. I don't have like whatever. I literally don't. I don't have lights. Like, I've bought them. I lose them. But it's just me and my phone. I don't really have mics. Sometimes if we're out filming, I'll like scrounge one up, but I don't have anything. Like I don't have stuff. Like I told you, I filmed my podcast this morning. It was just like me and my husband on the couch. Like I really don't prepare for things or have stuff, but I think that's part of the authenticity of it. I didn't set out to do it that way. It was kind of just a lazy approach. And then it kind of clicked.
It worked.
It kind of clicked. So
Yeah.
I just went with it. But yeah.
And then you have makeup on, you don't have makeup on, you have
The
your
ones
coffee
that go
cup.
viral, for some reason, I'm not wearing makeup.
Okay.
Which, is horrifying to me. But that's okay. I don't care so much anymore.
But I think my point is like you're not scared to be you, whereas
No.
a lot of the classes that we have about social media, you find that people in those classes want to have equipment and a place to go and
Yeah.
multiple outfits changes and everything's
No.
teed up. Yours is just very natural and off the cuff.
Yes, which I think, and I'm never selling anybody anything too. I think that's a big distinction between what I do and what other agents, even when you're doing walkthrough videos or you've got your name tag on and you're in the video, you're creating a barrier between what you're saying and what people are hearing. Because when we see somebody come at us to sell us something, we're instantly like, put your guards up. And I'm just sharing stories. I'm just talking about real estate. I don't care if you like me or not. Like, I had one guy, I have a propensity for language, and he was like, you would do so much better if you didn't curse. And I'm like, I do pretty damn well, sir. Thank you. Thank you. In fact, I'm good. Like, but it's also, by the way, it's funny because we did talk about my mouth prior to turning on the camera.
No, I didn't talk about anything specific to you. I just say that I ask guests to control it a little bit.
Does she ask every guest, or was it like, I know Courtney's coming in, so I'm going to ask this specific guest?
I am not without use of the cuss word.
I'm just-
Okay.
So there was like a whole study about it that actually when people curse, not vulgarity, but when people curse in meetings or when you're meeting them, people have a better connection with you. There's actually it's a Harvard study. There's a whole study on
That's a hard thing because you're talking to an affiliate, right? Of someone of service to the realtor. And I've been an affiliate for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we always approach it as we're Switzerland, right? Where we don't have political affiliations or religious affiliations. We don't cuss. You dress nice, because you have to fit in with a whole variety of people.
We know.
Yeah.
We know
So, I mean, I've never... Once I know my audience, I can decide to change that, right? But when I first meet someone, no, we don't.
Well, I'm not. I'm always very aware when somebody calls me from social media and I show up at their house. Like I'm a different version of me.
Same.
I'm what you see when I'm on camera is me, but it's in a little more unfiltered version of me than when I'm in your house and
Sure.
we're talking about your money and we're talking about your asset. Like I'm still me and I'm still pretty blunt and to the point, but you don't get that other side of me so much. So I do, but I think one of the things, and I hear what you're saying about what you're doing is people are so afraid of backlash when they say something, or they're so afraid that they're going to offend. Everyone's so afraid of offending people.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I
It's
honestly,
a tough climate,
but everyone's offended about everything. So it really, truly doesn't matter what you say. You're going to piss somebody off one way or the other. And I was given an analogy early on by another girl on TikTok. And she was like, people like tea. They like hot tea and they like cold tea. Nobody likes warm tea. So if you're out here just warm teeing it up, like...
Well,
nobody's gonna like you or connect with you. Like I don't want to trust hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of real estate to somebody who doesn't have a freaking opinion.
Sure.
Have an opinion. I don't disagree with me. I don't care what it is, but I want to know that what is important to me and my family is being trusted to somebody who is not just a yes person. And I don't want that. So that's...
No, I get it. I mean, I insert myself when it's time. And how it's time.
Yeah.
Knowing when to do
felt
that.
Scary though. I felt threatening.
No, not at all. I mean, it's just, when it's time for me to step up and say what I think or say what I know, I'm not scared to do that.
Yeah.
Right. But, when you first meet people these days, I feel like you have to be.
It's very different when you're one-on-one with someone
100%.
versus you're looking at yourself on a camera. And, I just always assume like I'm just talking to my best friend. So I had this morning, I did a video yesterday. What day was it? I don't remember. Anyways, I was at the airport and I did a video while I was sitting at the airport. I guess it was Friday. And my husband, Gabe, who's also a realtor, had taken a call from a seller whose house had been on the market 120 some days. He asked the agent to lower the price of the house. She said no because she had other listings and didn't want to affect the other listings.
I think I saw this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was like, he creates ChatGPT for a living for the housing industry, actually. So he asked Chat what he should do and who he should hire. And Chat was like, call Courtney Benson. And so he ended up reaching Gabe, my husband. So Gabe's talking to him and Gabe, pulls it up and he's like, well, it's overpriced. It's always priced. Newsflash, guys. It's always priced. It's always priced. And was talking to him. So I shared this and the comments about us breaking a code of ethics were wild. Like people were like, he should never speak to somebody else's client, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, y'all are serious. Like this is, so then I made a video this morning about that in my form of saying, clearly we're not reading the code of ethics because it's not a violation. And just, you'll get responses like that. Now, some people will kind of, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, or doubt themselves. If I'm going to say something on the internet, I know damn well that what I'm talking about, and I'm very confident about it.
Sure.
And I do think that comes across when a lot of my business is referrals from agents from out of state. And I do ask them, like, why'd you pick me? Is it because I'm pretty? It's because I'm pretty, isn't it? Like, I know. And they're like, no, you're smart. Like, and because I have confidence and I will say what I want to say and I say it directly. And if you're referring a client to somebody else and you don't know them, you get a glimpse of them on social media. So they get to see my personality. They get to see what I know about a contract. They get to see the experiences I have. And if they're going to refer someone, they want to know their client is well taken care of and that I can get them to where they need to go and get that deal closed. And that's the sentiment every time I get a referral.
How do you deal with, I'm not even looking at my script anymore. So how do you deal with, because I think a lot of people would have trouble with haters on that. And you've got to be prepared for the haters.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Because as you gain in popularity, the more controversy you're going to naturally cause.
Yeah,
you know?
I just make them uncomfortable. First of all, I decide that they all have crushes on me.
Okay.
And that they're just like, it's like pulling a girl's pigtails. Like, so, and I will even say it, like if somebody says something more than once, I'm like, are you obsessed with me? Because this is getting weird. Like, why do you like me so much? And then they'll like delete their comment.
That is
So
just make them uncomfortable. That's the answer.
make them uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a good one the other day. Some builder made some snarky comment about realtors and he's a builder and and I said, and I looked up his stuff and his stuff was crap. And so I was like, I bet you don't say that in a down market when people are trying to sell your POSs. And then I said, but I didn't say that because that would be unkind and I'm not unkind.
You didn't say that, or you did say that?
But
you
then I
did say that.
I did say, but I wouldn't say that because that's unkind. I just wanted you to know what that felt like when it came across your way.
You know, there's a builder who's not in our marketplace anymore. Back in my career before I came to Lawyer's Title, I used to do a lot of builder bus tours, and I saw it was a big new construction boom. I saw all the builders doing fun things at their locations, and I didn't like being left out of all the fun.
Yeah.
So I went to the builders and said, what if I bring you a bus full of 40 realtors? What do you think? And they were like, what? You're going to do what? And I'm like, yeah, because I want to be around hanging out with them while you're doing all this fun stuff at your models. So I had, I don't know, 2 or 3 builder bus tours lined up a month for 2 years, 3 years. I mean, it was insane. Yeah, it was insane. It was like a machine. Anyway, and I got to meet a lot of people and spend a lot of time and make some really great relationships. I mean, this was back when Windsong was just barely Windsong. I mean, it's brand new when they were doing.
I have an issue with the name of Windsong. That's another.
We'll get to that. But I called. There was a new builder that was in town that was building these modern looking properties within these communities, and everybody wanted to go see it. So I was like, Tamara, can you contact this builder? So finally, I'd had enough of the ask that I called the builder, and their answer was, well, we don't need realtors. We have buyers lined up around the corner of our houses. And I said, I wish you good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are they now?
Yeah, they're not here anymore.
My first video that took off was during COVID. And I was sitting on my couch and I had a hat on. I was like slumped over, and I had done like some dancing videos, and I got on during COVID because my kids were on it. And I had $1 million buyer, new construction, and they were like, would she like this subway tile or would she like this subway tile? And you can't actually come look at it. And it was like, I think 30% down payment that they had to put.
What?
Like it was insane.
That's insane.
And they're like, oh, and by the way, you are on a list of like 800 people to even get to pick your color subway tile. Like it was bananas.
Yeah.
So I do a video and I'm just talking about my experience with this builder. I never mentioned their name. I'm just talking about it. And I post it and I'm watching like the numbers are going up and they're going up. And I'm like, oh God, I look so bad. Like, oh my God, what do you mean people are watching it? People are like, yeah, you tell them, like right on, like we're having their, everyone's kind of rallying about it. And so then the next day I get a call, and the call said, hey, your video circulated our corporate office and we can't help but to think you're talking about us. And I said, that's funny because I was. And
what did they say?
It was a girl. She said, well, we want to tell you why we're doing business like that. And I said, well, are you a for-profit company? And she goes, yeah. I said, then you don't need to tell me why. I said, I know exactly why you're doing it. And I said, was there anything I said that was untruthful? And she said, no, but maybe you didn't understand. I said, it's not about my understanding. Mm-hmm. I said, what you heard is exactly what us agents are going through and what buyers are going through. So if it sounded so ugly to you that you picked up the phone and knew it was about you, found me and called me to explain it away, then then you know better. Like it sounds ugly. And she's like, well, we'd like to invite you over to the office. I said,
why do you want to go? Why?
Why? That was a moment that I was like, ooh, I got something to say and somebody's listening.
Doesn't that feel powerful?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's scary sometimes. Like sometimes I had a moment like was it last year? I guess it was last year that, I got very aware of people watching me. It's weird. Like people will come up to me in public. Like at my birthday party that I just had, we were at Bingo Loco and somebody came running up to tell me that they follow me online. I've been in the airport and people it's a weird thing.
That would be weird.
And so not because I think it's weird that they do that. And I probably more excited than they are. I'm like, shut up, you do. Like that's so cool. And I'm like, take a picture with me so I can tell my kids. But it just made me very aware that people are watching me. And so then I got a little like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. Oh, maybe. And then I noticed I wasn't enjoying it as much. And so it was this year because more recently then I started posting a little bit more and I can't think about who's watching me. I just have to think about, I want to share this. I want to say this happened. Let me share my experience. And if you connect with it, awesome. Super glad you're there. If you don't like me, pound sand. Like I always say, the trash takes itself out. So see ya. Like wouldn't want to work with you anyways,
I find once you find your secret sauce for what it is that you do, deviating that is destructive to business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like you kind of have to stay with your secret sauce once you find it.
Yeah. And I like it. That's just how even the style of filming, like being close to my face, that came out of the fact that I weighed 130 pounds more.
It's incredible.
And I thought
what you've done.
Thank you. But in my brain, I thought if I was close enough to my face, you wouldn't notice how puffy it was, or you wouldn't see my body. And that's how that started. There was no cleverness about it. But then in hindsight, because what I have done is I've taken what I've done and I've tried to break it down to explain it to people or help them or just understand more of it. Why did I do this? And then what was the result? And is that process that I can duplicate? And I think the filming style, there's an intimacy to it because I am close to the camera and it does feel like you're talking to your friend.
Well, and what I see, and correct me if I'm wrong, are microbites of your day. It's not some giant recap of everything you did in the day.
No.
It's a microbite. It's just a
just a moment.
conversation or a meeting that you had. And all of it's very relevant to people looking to buy or sell houses. I mean, some of my favorites are the ones where you're like, okay, the contract was written wrong and this is why, or explaining those things that they don't think about, right? Or bringing to the forefront something that they may not think about. I think those are some of my favorite ones, you know?
Those,
I mean, there's the funny ones too that I enjoy.
I've got so many teed up.
How do you educate yourself? You know, like
by messing up.
Huh?
I mess up and then I ask for help and then I go, oh, I don't want to do that again.
Who helps you?
Kim, she's a good friend of mine. Kim Dean, she's a broker. But I have really good people around me, but I watch. Like I watch, I fangirl about like the agents. Like it's so cute. Jane Clark saw me at the Top 500 event and she's so cute. She came up to me and she goes, I follow you on social media. And I was like, Miss Jane, stop that right now. And she goes, I just keep thinking to myself, like, I need to get on there. I was like, Miss Jane, out of everyone, I'm going to give you a pass. Like you, ma'am, you don't need to be on social media. Like you are okay. I have such respect for these agents that have built such a magnificent business and I watch them. But I early on, I want to say it was my third transaction and I still remember this agent's name and, I messed up something and he said, don't you know who I am?
Oh, well, I don't like
I've
that.
never seen him again at any event,
Yeah.
but, I remember I got off the phone and I started crying and I said, never again will somebody know more than I do. Never again. And that was like, it was my third deal. And after that, I made sure I knew every single thing. I asked questions. I ask a lot of questions.
Okay.
I did a deal, it was several years ago, and we had difference of opinions. And I will say sometimes I'll say, well, I understand it this way and you understand it this way. I said, can we do something together? Can we both go our separate ways on this? Let's talk to our brokers and reconvene and come back because I am totally open to being incorrect. I'm totally open to it. You might learn something, I might learn something, or we might together. And that seems to diffuse it.
So I want to switch gears a little bit. Talk to me about, kind of bring it back to social media. So one of the questions I had for you was, does social media sell listings?
It depends. It depends on what your reach on social media is. It also depends on what the property is. The little 1992 Plano grade tile that's not going to be sold on social media. It has to be something salacious or give a big impact in some way. A lot of people are taking houses like that and creating videos around them, like, you know, whether they're talking derogatory about it or they're whispering in the microphone or they're doing things like that. And it does get eyes on the property, but people are really just watching the agent.
Okay.
So not really. I think sometimes there's a misconception that, you know, if you get somebody who's really big on social media and they just share your property. That's going to get sold. No, freaking price it right. Okay. Your pricing is the number one marketing tool. It's not social media, it's pricing.
Well, you're kind of spoiling my next question, which is why are agents' houses sitting?
Because they don't price it correctly. And don't have hard conversations with people. That's what the podcast was this morning that I did. Was having hard conversations. And I think right now the people will list according to comps, but they're not looking at market projections. So they're like, well, every other house in that neighborhood is 500 and it's the same size. So we're going to go in at 500. Well, the house has been sitting on the market 120 days. Guess what? Yours isn't going to sell at 500 either.
Right.
Like people aren't seeing that. I think that's a lot of it. And still a lot of them are just not entertaining the conversation. So you have to have hard conversations.
Do you just not take on listings if the seller won't price it right? Because there's always been like that strategy where there's a name for it. I forgot the name for it, but we'll take it on for 10 days.
I got names for it. I got names for it. No.
There's an actual name for this strategy, but you take it on for 10 days and then of course we'll do it my way after that when it doesn't sell.
Yeah. No, I don't really get those people. Usually if somebody is that firm on some wild price and they're digging in their heels, they're just not my client.
Okay.
Because I entertain it. If we're close and we have the conversation like, okay, I can see why you're trying to be here. I don't agree with it. And I'm very quick. I will tell people I don't agree with it. So when your plan doesn't work, we hope it does. We're going to try our damnedest to get it to work for you. But if it doesn't work, because my experience tells me so, then here's plan B. So are you going to fight me when we get to plan B? And they'll laugh and they're like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm like, okay. So I just I always try to make them laugh a little bit. But then when plan B comes around, I'm like, hey,
remember
I'm here
plan
at
B?
plan B. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, we're at plan B.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you do open house tours? 'Cause I don't think I see those.
I don't. I am not a video walkthrough kind of person. I have them. I will do them and I'll post them, but that's not getting eyes on the property.
What does?
Pricing. Circle back around. Thank you.
Only pricing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Only pricing, damn it. So yeah, pricing. It has to. Now all these things come into conjunction. If you price something correctly and you support it with social media and you support it with marketing, then you're going to create more leverage for your client because it does create excitement, but it's not gonna. I've had people send me videos and they're like, "Can you just post this on your TikTok?" And I'm like, "Why? No. First of all, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, please, as my son would say.
No, please.
No, please.
Does that work?
Yeah, it does. And then you say it with a little giggle and then you just move on. I can't say it does. Social media just doesn't help at all. It does. And in fact, if you're not doing social media for your listings or talking about the listings on social media, I do think you're doing your clients a disservice. But to put all your eggs in the basket of, I don't have to price it correctly. I don't have to do any other marketing. I'm just going to do this walkthrough video tour and post it on my Facebook. That also is a disservice. That's not going to get it done.
So talk to me about...
Oh, can I wait? Let me share this.
yeah.
Let me
Share.
give you. I think what I should say that helps in regards to social media and selling houses is just exposure. Like people watching, people having somebody's attention is a resource. And so if you have an agent that has attention, meaning other agents are watching them, we have attention of the marketplace, attention of ChatGPT, attention on. I get calls from, I Googled best realtors in Dallas and you're in the top 10. Thank you, D Magazine. I'll get, it's a form of attention. And when you get attention, then you have the resource of being able to reach out. So I have sold houses simply because people have followed me or they know who I am or they'll take my phone call and then I'm like, hey, we got a match, or I saw you in my reverse prospecting and I know you, or I seen you make a comment before and I just wanted to say hi and talk to you. It's allowed me the ability to do that. So it's more about having a connection than it is to post some sort of generic walkthrough video and hope for the best.
It says a relationship business.
Yeah. But then, then you look at like YouTube, which I've not ventured into, and I'm probably because I have to leave something for other people. Like, I've already dominated.
I'm not
TikTok
sure what to do with that.
Instagram. That's when TikTok shut down. I was like,
I don't even know what to say.
I'm coming for you on Instagram now. No, because it's a platform I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
And I'm 48. Do I really need to learn something else?
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
We talked about you have your secret sauce already.
Yeah. So like my buddy Preston Gale, he's on YouTube and he does quite well on YouTube and he does video walkthroughs and he's magnetic. And
I have a client who's very successful on YouTube. He does a lot of community.
Yes.
Why would you, what can 500K in Frisco, not Frisco because you can't, I don't know. Can you get
nothing,
5? Yeah.
Nothing. It gets you nothing.
Garland.
Yeah, exactly. Come see my listings in Saxy. That whole channel is built to support that.
Yeah.
So that is their business. Like my business is talking to realtors and talking to buyers and sellers in Dallas, Fort Worth, and then they reach out to me. My business isn't selling a property on TikTok because I posted it one time. Preston Gale's business is he has a whole YouTube channel. It's dedicated to that. Good. So you have to it has to be your thing. So if and I talk about this, when people ask me like why their social media doesn't work. And I'm like, because you don't know who you are. Like I can go to your page and one day you're standing there with your clients with a sold sign. The next day you got your name tag on and you're doing a walkthrough tour. And then the next day you're at the lake with your family and your daughter's cheerleading thing. Like, well, I don't know you enough to care about your life like that. Like I came here to entertain myself, educate myself. So pick one. And, you know, if you can combine the two, then you got kind of a viral moment. But people need to stick with one thing. If you go to my TikTok, it's always about real estate. Always. The only time it's not about real estate, and it still is about real estate, is on Sunday. I do a kind of behind the scenes, my weekend photos, and I will post because people ask me about my outfits. I'll post sometimes outfits. I'll post whatever I did for the week. You'll see my kids sometimes. You'll see whatever I've done. And it's almost like my little 20-second diary every week. And I absolutely love it. And I have some hardcore watchers. Thanks, Mom. Like who watch my Sunday videos. But it's like a behind the scenes of my life. But then I also include whatever solds I have, whatever listings. So it's always about real estate. So when you see my face every single day, whether it's at 2:00 in the morning because you're breastfeeding your new baby and who's there with you? Courtney's there with you. You're in the bathroom. Courtney's there with you.
Yeah.
You're in your car at a lunch break. I'm there with you. Like people are used to me and I'm comforting to them. So they know I'm probably going to make them laugh. I'll probably piss them off. I'll probably tell them something that they didn't know. And so it's like seeing a friend. And so what I also think is really interesting is that, you know, we've been so ingrained to, you know, work our sphere is that I'm almost becoming people's sphere. Like you touch your sphere once a quarter, you send them a stupid thing of popcorn as a pop by and you're like, isn't that funny? Pop by with popcorn. Like, and somehow you think that they're,
I like
you know,
Popeyes.
Stop it.
I do very much.
Stop
Not all the time.
So
but who doesn't like something fun sitting at the? I don't know. I don't eat popcorn, but
I don't.
You don't want stuff like you don't want fun stuff.
Is it fun though? Like
it's cute.
I always think it's funny too. Like we have a tendency to market to people the way we don't even want to be marketed to. Like I always think that's weird. Like I wouldn't want that, or I wouldn't want to do it. I'd be like, oh, is that enough to give you my $1 million listing? Maybe two bags.
I didn't say it was going to be the,
what I'm saying
the
is
caveat for getting a giant
not.
listing, but I think they're fun. I like a nice touch. And besides, I'm getting sick and tired. I mean, the Amazon packages aren't always fun.
Well, I don't know what you're ordering, but mine are fun.
Always? Like you don't have to buy like things for your hair or things for your house. That's not fun.
I just always look this good.
So, I mean,
what I'm saying though is stop it. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to let you win. It's just to know when you sit, but you have this quarterly pop by. So you're like, hey, I'm here for my quarterly pop by. Here's your pencils for back to school. And you check their name and then you drive to the next house. I'm there every day with them when they're ready to receive me. So that's the other, like I look at social media as like office hours. When you call people or you text your clients randomly throughout the day, just like, hey, and you're kind of interjecting yourself into their day, you're annoying. Like it's annoying. It's annoying when somebody just randomly is like, hey, don't forget about me. And you're like, I'm not selling my house right now. Please leave me alone. Like that's how people feel. But if you're on social media, it's time that people let their guard down. They're ready to be entertained or educated, and they're willing to receive your message. We keep forcing our message on a time that's good for us, but I show up when they're ready to receive that. So they're open to laughing. They're open to being triggered by something I said. They're open to that. And so what I've been able to create by showing up consistently, which everyone's like, what's the secret sauce? Just show up. Just do it. Just do it messy. Do it however. You have to show up. And so people are used to me. And now I'm even more impactful than their sphere because you're showing up once a quarter with a bag of popcorn. I'm showing up every day and making them laugh.
You know, it's really interesting because we always learn from the social media instructors that you should do, part of it should be professional. Part of it should be personal, right? You're supposed to have a mix of stuff on social media, but you're kind of like, no, that's all dumb.
No, I just think you need to stay with a consistent message like that. You can be emotional, you can be funny, you can be pissed off, you can be whatever you are, but there has to be like a cohesion to it. Unless you're some big influencer and everyone's interested in what you're doing, you have to stay consistent with your message. Because we know, like we're on social media and you're like, if you see somebody and they didn't grab you in the first couple seconds because of what they're wearing or they look crazy or whatever it is. You're just like, scroll. You don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened over time is that people have learned to care. They've learned to stop because they've been receiving me and my message over time. And it's been consistent. Like kids, like when my kids were little, oh my God, even now, my daughter watches Gilmore Girls on the
Isn't
repeat.
it funny just the old shows like the kids are watching? I heard
Gilmore Girls
I heard
is the
somebody's
best.
kids say the other day they watched Different Strokes, and I was like,
Ooh, I love that show.
wow.
That was a good show.
We're reaching back on that
But
one.
it's like those, and a lot of them will watch the same episodes. Like my kids used to watch the same cartoon episode over and over, and it's because it's comfort. Like, have you ever worked and you're like, I'll put on Dr. Phil because like mine is 600-Pound Life. I'm going to put on 600-Pound Life because I know every character in the show, and I don't really have to pay attention, but it's comforting to me. And so that it's like that when you show up on social media, even if they're not taking in every word, I'm there and it's comforting. And so that's the feeling that you get from showing up consistently on social media. That's when people are following, then they're interested, is because I'm consistent.
And it is a different format. I mean, TikTok and Instagram, you're going to be, TikTok's all video, right? You don't post.
You can do photos, but yeah, I mean, it's.
I'd never. Have you
there's
seen that?
pho-
Is
yeah,
there
I've posted. Yeah. There's
photos?
Yeah, you can do photos. Like
Well,
little
like
carousel.
your outfits, you said.
You can do like a little, like kind of like Instagram. You can do a little carousel kind of thing.
I don't know if I've ever. See, anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a different format, though, traditionally than like a Facebook, where you see primarily. I mean, you've seen a lot more videos on Facebook than you used
Yeah.
to, but most of it's still photos and graphics. And
It is. It's a
things like
different demographic. Well,
Yeah.
I can't say that completely because my demographic on TikTok is me. It's my age. It's females. If I post stuff like a video, typically I will just post it into my stories on Facebook. I don't post it onto my feed. Like,
Okay.
I'll post family stuff on my Facebook feed, whatever I'm doing. So I'll post listings and stuff like that. But if it's like a TikTok or things like that, I'll typically post it to stories because people are actively going to watch that as opposed to just forcing them to watch my stuff.
You prefer TikTok the most, though.
Yeah, it's kind of raw and it's accepting and it's just show up as you are
I agree with that.
and say what you got to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I like-
Instagram's a little like we wear pink on Wednesdays.
What area of your business are you trying to improve right now?
Systems,
What are the challenges with that?
me.
This is a very short question.
Next
What
question.
kind of
Next
systems?
question. I have a tendency to want to touch everything all the time. So instead of like, okay, I've done this one activity 3 times and I've said the same thing 3 times, instead of creating a system to make that easy for me to reply that way, I'm like, I'm going to type it all over again. I don't take the time to stop in the moment and spend the time to build something that may make it a little bit easier. But I'm working on that. I've hired somebody. I hired, what do you call them? VAs?
Yeah.
I could not.
Tell me why.
I didn't know what to tell them to do. And so every week I was like, have a great week. Here's 40 hours of free time. Like just the worst. I was like, I couldn't. So now I've hired somebody else that I feel like we communicate a little bit better. But even her, like, she texts me every week and she like will give me a list of the things that I owe her. And I'm like, thanks so much.
And then you just pay her.
Sure. Yeah, because I'll get to it. But
Ever?
sure, yeah, no, I'll get to it because I'll feel
Okay.
so guilty that at some point.
It's a very interesting dynamic
Do it.
with you and this person.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Give me an example of what she's supposed to accomplish to help you improve your business.
Well, like today, she uploaded my podcast, and I was super excited to.
Okay,
have
well,
just
you did
recorded
that,
it.
so
Yeah.
that's done.
So I recorded it, and I texted her, and I was like, "Hey, podcast is ready." She's like, "On it." Like she's just helping me with the CRM, which
What CRM do you use?
Well, now I'm Lofty. When I was at Compass, I went all in with Compass when I was there, and that was unsatisfying. I'll just tell you that.
So
Like,
why do you Lofty? Why do you like Lofty?
because it's $40 a month through Real.
Oh, is it the real
It's-
CRM?
No, I mean that's what they provide if we want to
Okay.
use it. I have never used a CRM until like a year ago. I never used a CRM. And then when we went to Compass, I went all in with the CRM and then found it did the opposite for my business. And then it was a
Why?
crazy lesson because I removed myself from it. So, I mean, I was selling $30 million by sitting on my couch watching my 600-pound life, texting clients that I would literally think of, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm mimicking it for anyone who's not watching visually." That was me doing that. I would just like people come into my brain, and I would like text them, "Hey, how's it going?" And they're like, "Shut up! I was literally talking about you last night." And
You know, there was another
there's
realtor that
something
we
to
had on
intuition.
like that, Joe Atkins, who he just was like, I'm a relationship guy and
Yeah,
I just call people. And
Yeah.
I'm like, but how do you know who to call and when to call? He was like, I just do it.
my gut. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like it
yeah.
literally
what are you going
just
to talk to him about?
like and also because I know my people. So like if I'm out and I'm shopping and I see something, I will like take a picture of it and text it to him. I'm like, dude, have you seen this? Like, did you see this new purse that came out? Or check out these earrings or whatever, just because I mean it. Like I'm
yeah,
not
but I
like,
do that also with my clients. Like I called someone this morning
Mm-hmm.
that didn't have anything to do with my business or whatever. I just wanted to draw their attention to something. But there's the people that always fall through the cracks. Do you
Yeah.
find that there's people that fall through the
100%.
cracks?
100%. Somebody
What do we do about those
texted
people?
me today about her listing. She's like, we've decided not to list. And I was like, oh, I don't know who this is. Okay. And I do have those moments. And, you know, I have to forgive myself. It's okay. I can't.
What do you say?
I say, well, that sucked. Like,
Oh, you didn't say, I don't know who this is.
No, I would
Tell me who
never.
this
I would
is.
never. I scrolled back on the
You didn't
text
say,
and I
this
was
is
like,
Gabe.
I was like,
I'm handling Courtney's phone. Who is
yeah,
this?
sometimes. No, people will text me about stuff and talk to me, and I don't have them in my phone. So I'll do like a reverse lookup. I really try to find out who it is before I'm like, who this? People do fall through the cracks, but I also am very well aware that I can only do so much, and I don't want to take on too much. I have had a tendency to take on too much, and then I feel badly that I'm not doing my best in any arena that I'm in, and I don't want to feel like that. And
I get that.
And so I've had to. I've had to rethink. I let go of a few listings recently, which
Tell
I've
me
never
why.
done. They don't want to sell their house. They don't want to. It's very evident that if I want to sell your house more than you want to sell your house, and you don't want to sell your house, and I don't need to be spending my time doing it.
What indicated that they don't want you to sell their house?
Canceling showings, complaining, stuff like that. Like a lot of complaining. I don't. I don't. Do
No, you
well
got to
with
let
that.
people in to see it.
Yeah, I don't do well with that.
That's
and
part of it.
But I think that has come with time, and I'm very well aware too. We talked about it this morning that sometimes it depends on what's in your bank account. Like
That can be a motivator.
yeah, like I remember people used to be like, "Oh, they're going to talk to you like that." Well, you just say next, and I was like, "Who the hell are all you realtors that just have like a line of people waiting
Yeah.
to come work with you? Like, what do you mean next? Like, no, I'm going to run this till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?" But I also think it's age. I'm 48, and I don't have the energy level to entertain the BS anymore.
No, I get
And
that too.
I'm also recognizing too that it takes away from the next best thing. Anytime I've let something go, I twofold get it back better.
Well, I think that's a great place to stop for today. Don't let people run your business for
Same
you.
time tomorrow.
Same time tomorrow. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
This is the first conversation that I've had on the podcast where I absolutely didn't use my script. So
Well,
says a lot about you.
It does. I love that. That it's that authentic, that authenticness, a connection.
Well, that's another episode of The Closing Table with Lawyers title. Again, I'm your host, Tamara Gady. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to connect with you on my social media platforms and help you with your title needs. Make it a great day.